it out that the sun shines down its power to all the world and makes the wind blow strong as it will. I wonder how gentle rains can fall upon the land, so lovely earth can stay lovely still. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 643rd edition of Energy Week with George Harvey and Nancy Wolf.
Hi there.
Hi.
It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. It's always better when you're around. I'm pretty boring by myself. Anyway, today is the 2nd of October. We're doing the show based on news from the 25th of September through the 1st of October, which I guess is a full week. And I should tell you that, I'm having trouble. I should tell you that these are news items that come from my blog, which is a news aggregation blog, and I picked 3 items, usually, in this week is also the case, from every day that are the most interesting pieces for the day. And you can go to my blog, geoharvey.com, go to the date on the calendar, and then look through the usually 15 items that are there. Or, much easier, you can go to wherever you can scroll to on the machine that you're using to look at this, assuming you can scroll to such things, and find tiny URL / Energy Week 643. There you go.
And then you get the show.
And you can get the show. And we're starting off this week with a butterfly fish.
Oh, so beautiful. Okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, this is from Euronews, and the headline here is Planetary Health Check reveals oceans have breached critical acidification boundary.
A damning report reveals that the planet's ocean acidification has entered into the danger zone for the first time. Now, why they call this the danger zone for the first time, I don't know. We have all kinds of things
all kinds of danger zones
happening in the ocean, and we've had them for years. But this report, the 2025 Planetary Health Check, warns that 7 of 9 critical Earth system boundaries have now been breached. That's one more than last year. These boundaries are not geographical boundaries. There are boundaries in the amounts of things, or values of things, such as the temperature, the load of microplastics, the acidity. But, we've had problems with temperature and ocean acidity for many years. And in fact, I had a warning. I think this would have been close to 50 years ago from an old man who was a friend of mine who said, I don't know what people are going to do in the 21st century because they're going to have problems with ocean acidification and things like that because we're burning fossil fuels, and that carbon dioxide is going to go into the ocean. By the way, carbon dioxide is what makes soda water fizz. But if you've ever heard the story about getting rust off something with Coca-Cola,
no.
Carbon dioxide coming off of soda water that's poured onto something will remove rust under certain circumstances, I guess. I don't know. I've never tried it. But that is an acid.
Yeah.
And you don't normally find animals or plants living in it. And there is such a thing as natural soda, but it usually comes out of the ground. And when the oceans get acidic, it causes animal shells to dissolve. It's not.
Well, you're changing, an entire, you're changing ecosystems. When there's just an environmental change. So things are going to be different.
Yes.
And that has to be expected instead of thought of as a surprise. But what I think is the thing that stands out to me is just increase. So
Yes.
this is an increase. It's
It's
just
an
that
increase.
things are getting worse.
Yes, and I feel pretty confident that we can turn this around if we
Yeah.
can get people in power, which we're going to have to do. But the people who are leading, the leaders, have to be people who are aware
Yes.
of what has to be done.
Yep.
And speaking of leaders,
Yeah. Here we go.
we have a picture of Xi Jinping.
Yeah. So this is from Clean Technica. China announces modest emission reduction target.
This article was really kind of funny. The Chinese president, Xi Jinping, told the UN General Assembly via video link that his country now plans to lower its greenhouse gas emissions by 7 to 10% by the year 2035. Xi said China would increase the proportion of non-fossil fuels in its energy system to more than 30% over the next decade. I don't know what that 30% is, because I think 50% of the capacity in China is already renewable.
Right. Yeah. My question here is why why modest?
Yeah. They like to cash in on hitting a target 5 years early.
Yeah.
So they set up the 2035 target so that they can, in 2029, say, look
Right.
at what a wonderful job we're doing.
Yeah.
And really, that is in the article. That the
Yeah.
article says that.
Yeah.
But they wonder,
I wonder if, I mean, yeah, I wonder.
I think if you've got what China has got in terms of the ability to produce renewable energy generating equipment and so forth, why go for a low target? Why not
Yep.
just go for a big target? And
There's got to be something at the end of that.
yeah,
There's a reason for setting that target, going low and not going fast, and going modest and not going full speed ahead. There's something.
well, one of the things that they've had in the last few years is they have been expanding renewable energy like crazy, but they have been expanding generating capacity faster than that. And the only way they could do that was to put coal online and natural
Yep.
gas. And they put coal on instead of natural gas. But I remember reporting on this show that the last village in China to get electricity had got electricity. And when they're accounting for this, they count the villages having electricity if one household has got electricity.
Okay.
And it was only, I don't know, 5 years ago, however long it was, that happened. I don't remember what year that was, but it was, and they're trying to get everybody on electricity as fast as they can.
Yeah.
And one of the problems that they've had with coal is that they wanted a lot of people north of a certain river. I don't think it was the Huanghe, but it was a river in China. They wanted people north of that river in order to make it difficult for the Russians to invade. This is always a problem with the Chinese. So what they did was they told people, if you will live north of that river, we will supply you with coal. So your house will be warm.
Yeah.
And that was a policy that was introduced a long time ago. And they've got large numbers of people who, yeah. We should move on.
Yep.
And we have a picture of a brown trout. The caption just says trout, but it is a brown trout.
Yeah.
A bunch of brown trout.
This is from ABC News. Some U.S. streams and rivers facing severe declines in fish populations.
Yeah, cold water streams have been highly impacted, experiencing more than a 50% decrease in fish abundance. 50% is a lot. over the last 3 decades. According to a study published in Nature, researchers found that the number of fish declined by 53.4% average in cold streams. Now, I want to explain this. The certain kinds of fish, and the brown trout is the most susceptible fish I know of in Vermont. People fish for this thing, and it's of trout, it's probably got the best in terms of safety. It's probably got the best meat because it lives in streams, not in places like Lake Champlain or the Connecticut River where you have pollution.
Yeah.
That aggregates. And that brown trout will not live in streams that are warmer than a certain temperature. And I don't remember what the temperature it is, but it strikes me that it might be 60 degrees. So this is cold water.
Yep.
Now, why does it need that cold? Because cold water holds a lot of oxygen, and it needs the oxygen. And if you've ever seen trout go after something that it sees in the water that it might want to eat, you can see why. They're very fast fish. Okay, we're up to Friday, September 26th.
Yeah.
And we have a picture of windmills.
Yeah, so this is from Power Technology. Commitments boost renewable energy investments to $1.6 trillion.
Commitments to expand renewable energy access to electricity and clean cooking in this decade increased to a total investment pledged through the UN to $1.6 trillion, with $284 billion already mobilized. The Energy Compact's annual progress report says. So that 1.6 trillion is over a period of 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is 160 billion a year, which is not enough. It's maybe a third of what is needed. But there's another thing to pay attention to here, and that is, since the United States is not going to produce the stuff that the world needs, somebody else is.
Yep.
And
yep. That's what I underlined. United Nations. There's nothing. There's no America in any of this. It's just no.
And Donald Trump went to the United Nations and talked about how everybody was going to lose money because they were investing in renewable energy. And it's clear to me he doesn't know. Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy, doesn't know. They believe people without checking the resources to find out if what they're saying is true.
Yep.
I think in the case of Donald Trump, he learned something, and he doesn't like to relearn things. And what he learned 15 years ago was that solar was expensive, which it was 15 years ago.
Yes.
So I kind of think that might be what's going on. But
he's got the fixed idea.
He doesn't like to relearn things. He doesn't like to find out that he's wrong.
And, he doesn't like to evolve. All those things that other people might do.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
This is a picture of a plane taking off.
Yeah. So this is from Euronews. Study warns climate change will increase aircraft noise.
Go figure.
Go figure.
A study from the University of Reading, and I believe that is in England, found that airports across Europe could be noisier as the planet warms. Published in the journal Aerospace, the research shows that climate change could leave aircraft closer to the ground for longer and expose more people to disruptive noise pollution. Why would they be close to the ground longer? It's simple, because the air is warmer. And warmer air is not as dense, so it's hard for the plane to kind of grab a hold of it and lift itself off the ground. So it's just got to be around for a longer period. It's and things really are that simple. And
I know the last time I even flew on a plane, which was before the pandemic. I haven't flown on a plane in a long time, but there's just living in New York City. If you go to the airport, you are going to be just moving around like as if you're a car, but you're in a plane, and everybody's trying to lift off, and it's just all these different, and some places are okay. Well, if you have an expensive ticket, you might lift off because they're paying for this and that. But I just remember that whole just taxiing around, and I can't imagine that that's gotten any better.
I really dislike travel by plane, and a lot of the reason is because it is so.
Is it a nuisance? That's what I wrote down. Noise and nuisance.
Noise is a nuisance, but also aircraft use incredible amounts of fuel.
Yes.
And I used to live in Winchester, across the river, and I lived in Winchester and I worked in Washington, D.C. So I was commuting between Winchester and Washington, D.C. I would go down and stay in Washington for a month, and then I'd come back for a weekend. Yeah. And, I would go down by train. And the reason I went down by train was simple. When you figured the time that it would take my son to drive me to Hartford to go to the airport and go home, my time on the airplane after waiting around in Hartford, and then getting off and taking, typically, what is the airport that's north of Washington, D.C.?
BWI.
Okay.
Baltimore.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I'd get off there and I'd take a train that would turn into that was a long haul on the train. And then I'd walk to the hotel, which would, I'd typically get in at like 8:30 at night or something like that. And for what? So if I came down by train, I'd arrive earlier.
And you'd also arrive by public transportation. You'd be right at public transportation because that's where all the...
Absolutely. Yeah. It was, although there were times when I just walked from the train station. I used to stay in the hotel. My daughter, who worked with me, and I called this hotel the Herringbone. Do you know the Harrington Hotel? The Harrington Hotel is about 3 blocks from the White House, and it is not fancy. Not fancy. What is a very fancy hotel? The Willard.
Oh yeah,
I stayed in the Willard.
Oh.
I had to go to Washington for a deposition, and I was just booked into the Willard. I didn't know anything about the Willard. I went to the Willard, and
yes,
they had a box that big of Godiva chocolates on my pillow. The moment I saw that, I said, I don't need to be here. And the room barely had a place to walk in it. It was so stuffed with furniture. It was a wonderful hotel. It was a beautiful hotel. It cost 3.5 times as much as the Harrington.
Yeah.
So my daughter and I also stayed in Crystal City at one time.
Right.
That was an experience.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Well, we've dealt with aircraft noise. Let's deal with offshore wind turbines.
Oh yeah.
That is a picture of the Block Island wind farm. It has 5 turbines, and they are all in this picture, although one of them is cleverly concealed behind a blade of one of the others.
Yep, I see that. So this is from Clean Technica. Life is lovely now that Block Islanders have offshore wind power.
Block Islanders love how offshore wind power has improved their lives. The island is connected to the Block Island Offshore Wind Project and to the mainland power grid. Quote, the benefits have been extraordinary, end quote. Keith Stover, head of the island's town council, told the New York Times. Now, just to give you an idea, the cost of electricity dropped when they got this wind farm going by something like 40%. Now, it dropped to a figure that was a little more than double what we pay in Vermont.
Okay.
But even so, it dropped by a lot.
Yeah.
And they got rid of 7 diesel generators, which were noisy, polluting.
Yep.
This is supposed to be a nice place. And, you know, they got pretty quick, like they go down to the beach where the beach looked at those wind turbines and enjoy watching them go round and round. Yeah, okay. Let's go on. We're up to Saturday, September 27th, and we have a picture of an Alia electric plane.
Yeah, so Alaska's Ryanair orders Beta Technologies electric plane for cargo duty.
Electra, I don't know if that's, I think that's Electrive is the name of the publication, reports that Alaska cargo plane airline Ryanair, which is not related to Ryanair in case anybody's ever...
That's what I first thought. So, yeah. Yep.
In Alaska, placed an order for Beta Technologies Alia electric plane and signed up to install up to 10 of Beta's Charge Cube charging stations. I would bet that they're connected to wind turbines, probably, to charge them. The electric aircraft will be used in remote regions of Alaska. Now, 100% of Vermont is rural, including downtown Burlington, of course, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They've got definitions, and Vermont is rural. I think they would probably count 100% of Alaska as remote.
Right. Right.
So these charging stations are probably connected, I think, just to wind turbines, although they could be connected to solar. And some of them are probably connected to diesel, but diesel power in Alaska is so expensive. The diesel fuel has got to get to the place where it's used. How do you do that? Well, in some cases, you take it in by plane. So
we're just bringing all of them together. Yes, the wind farm and yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, now this is something that has me. I shouldn't say I'm terribly concerned, but I am a little concerned about it. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, this one. This is from ABC News. After massive shrimp recalls, the FDA finds radioactive contamination in spices.
What? Federal regulators detected possible radioactive contamination in a second food source sent to the United States from Indonesia. This is comforting, by the way, because they both came from Indonesia. If they came from 2 different places, I'd be much more worried. Even as recalls of potentially tainted shrimp continue to grow, federal inspectors detected cesium-137 in a shipment of cloves. Cloves? Shrimp and cloves. What do they have in common? They have in common that they're coming from Indonesia.
Yeah, But I mean, my one note here is just be very careful about your food sourcing. Think about where you get your food.
Yes.
Don't be dramatic. Just think about where you get your food and just be a little bit more
careful. Yes. I have notes on this. Cesium-137 has a half-life of 30 years. That's a short half-life. This stuff is very radioactive. And it forms soluble salts. So there is no natural accumulation of it. In fact, it does exist in nature, but you're going to spend a long time looking for it. So there is an unanswered question, which is, where did this stuff come from? Now, it it isn't found naturally. That means that it comes from atomic bombs going off. Well, I don't think many of those have gone off in the last 50 years. And the other source is from I'm going to say a broken nuclear reactor or
That would make sense.
nuclear waste.
Yes, those two would be what I would deduce from that as well.
In either case, it's very worrisome.
Yes.
But it's worrisome beyond Indonesia. It's worrisome for every place that they use nuclear power.
Yeah, and it's worrisome because federal inspectors have to detect these things. So we have to trust in a system. These things slip past people.
Yes, they do.
This is it's very serious that we have to be.
And the shrimp, I was surprised when I saw that because it was detected in 4 different ports, more or less simultaneously. These shipments, previous shipments of shrimp had not set off the detectors, but they had something happened to the shrimp in Indonesia, more than likely. And this, I don't know. I did read several years ago about a new nuclear reactor in China, and I read a description of something that happened in the nuclear reactor, and I said, wait a minute. They're talking about a meltdown, and they're giving it a different name. And this was a new nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And I thought, Russia tried to hide Chernobyl.
Yep.
They did hide the Kishtim incident.
I mean, we tried to hide 3 Mile Island. I mean, everyone
did hide the sodium reactor experiment, which was putting nuclear electricity from the nuclear plant online, which is why I count it. We've had a lot of meltdowns, but that particular one in Simi Valley, California, sent an unknown amount of nuclear material around, and nobody reported it at the time.
Yeah.
And even those of us who think about nuclear reactors don't spend a lot of time thinking about Fermi 1. I mean, you know about it.
Yep.
But how many people know that Fermi 1 melted down practically on the border of Detroit? It's Detroit. Nobody cares about Detroit.
Right. Yep.
I mean, really.
Yep. Really. Yep. Yep. I mean, I actually wrote a story about a leak in the Detroit River from nuclear waste. I wrote about it in Sojourners magazine a few years ago.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, Detroit it has seen so much just industrial
it's crazy
disaster. It's just it's like a waste dump for
I know
so much of our innovate, the cars and so many industries,
all kinds of other areas around there. Saginaw Bay. I remember when Saginaw Bay caught fire. What was that? Well, it was oil on the surface of the water. But, I mean, when I was a kid, there was bad, serious pollution around.
Yeah.
The Ashwillet River, my brothers and I used to call it the Duz River because it was not covered, I've seen much worse, but there were often little piles of soap suds in the river because of all the laundromats up and down the river that just discharged directly into it. And it took some time to clean that river up.
Yeah.
And the Connecticut River, you couldn't swim in the Connecticut River. Now you can fish in the Connecticut River. At least that's what I'm told.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we have to go on, and we are way behind schedule now.
We are behind schedule.
And we have a picture of Kathy Hochul.
Yeah, so this is from ReNews. New York launches onshore renewables tender.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul launched a solicitation for land-based renewable energy and directed state agencies to accelerate shovel-ready projects to meet rising demand. The 2025 Tier 1 request for proposals for large-scale wind, solar, and other renewables was issued by NYSERDA. And by the way, Empire Wind is still going ahead because she made a deal with the Trump administration which allowed it to go ahead, but also allowed a natural gas pipeline to be built in New York State.
Yep, that makes sense.
And
that's how
I'm
that works.
sorry, I don't like it.
No, it is not good.
I don't know that she had a choice, and I think that she had to spend some time evaluating that. I don't think she's...
I mean, the choice itself is just complicated. What do you do? I mean, you have to, these are also jobs going away. These are and people are out of work. So many people are out of work, and you have jobs available to...
Yes. And there is such a thing as a deal with the devil.
Yep.
And there's now such a thing as a deal with the great deceiver.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is a biblical term, if New Testament. Okay, I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah.
Clean Technica, vertical solar system in Tromsø.
Yep. This one's, and the headline here is Bifacial Rooftop Vertical Solar Panels in Norway.
Yeah. Somehow I missed a space in panels in there. Tromsø, a city in Norway, is north of the Arctic Circle, which means in the winter you don't have any sunshine at all. Most might think that this makes it a rather poor choice for solar power, but in fact, the roof of Tromsø Terminalen, a cold storage facility at the city's port facility. You're north of the Arctic Circle, and you need solar power for your cold storage facility. Well, guess what? You don't get solar power in the winter, but you also don't lose heat in the winter from a cold storage facility.
Yep.
It has the world's largest installation of vertically mounted bifacial solar panels. Interesting. If you think about that, in the summer, when the sun is always up, it goes around you in the sky like this, which means it's almost always going to be shining on those solar panels in a way that produces power 24 hours a day. It'll be down when the sun is looking straight down those panels, but you know, it won't be long between one side stops producing and the next starts. Okay, we have an item here. We have a picture of an offshore gas and wind. Now, the gas is in the foreground, the wind turbines are in the background.
Yes, this is from evworld.com. Why even fossil fuel executives are opposing Trump's offshore wind crackdown.
The Trump administration has tried to shut down offshore wind projects, but opposition to this strategy isn't just from environmentalists and clean energy advocates. Some fossil fuel executives are pushing back out of economic pragmatism, which is to say, they don't want this to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a moment. Let's get real. Let's just get real.
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go on again.
Let's go on.
We have a picture of the Ivanpah power plant.
Yeah, this is from Clean Technica.
Yeah.
Ivanpah and Heliogen, lessons from concentrated solar's decline.
Okay. When Ivanpah opened in the Mojave Desert in 2014, with its 3 towers glowing like beacons and almost 400 megawatts of capacity, it was the largest concentrated solar power plant in the world. Today, it is a cautionary tale. The story of the Heliogen project is similar. Now, I want to make an observation here. Heliogen was not a big project. It was a 5 megawatt project. It was a pilot project. But that solar power plant, Ivanpah, has this big tower. And it's got this thing at the top that's glowing. And the reason is because it's got hundreds and hundreds of heliostats, which are basically mirrors that track the sun and shine the sunshine on that tower to make it hot. And what it does is it heats up salt, not a salt solution, actual salt, which is then piped into a reservoir of molten salt. And that's used as a power storage mechanism. The result of that is that in theory, you could have this thing putting power out 24 hours a day. But it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work the way they wanted. And so they're closing it down. Which, you know, I remember when the Northfield Station pumped storage facility was put up just as the Vermont Yankee nuclear plant was put up in order to store power from Vermont Yankee during the night and put it on the grid during the daytime. My father, this was about 1974, asked one of the engineers there, is this thing working or will it work or something? I think it was already in operation. I don't know when it started. I think it was 1974. I might be wrong. But the man said, it is kind of marginally productive it's a marginal producer in terms of income from it.
Yeah.
But of course, the cost of electricity has gone up a lot since. And they never shut it down. It was marginal. I think Ivanpah was probably, it might have been submarginal. It might actually have been losing money. So, Heliogen, by the way, was backed by Bill Gates. Bill Gates has backed a lot of different things in energy that failed.
Yes.
And one thing that he's backing is nuclear power.
Yep.
Which I think is going to fail.
Yes.
Unless somebody in power cheats badly, because it's just not economical. Okay, we're up to Monday, September 29th.
Yeah. So
yes, go ahead.
So this is from Clean Technica. The LNG detour, what Scotland's new ferry teaches us.
When the Glen Sannox, now the Glen Sannox is that ship that you see when Nancy puts it back on the screen.
It's back.
When it was launched, it was hailed as Scotland's first, quote, green, end quote, ferry, which meant to reduce the impact of crossings between the mainland and the island of Arran. Powered by marine diesel and liquefied natural gas, it turned out not to be so green. How could they possibly call it green if it's burning marine diesel and liquefied natural gas? Because liquefied natural gas produces less sulfur, and I don't know. It would have been better powered by a battery.
Yeah, you could say that again, for sure. Yeah.
And, that was, they thought of liquefied natural gas as a bridge fuel.
It's a long bridge, huh?
Yes, it is a long bridge. Okay, I'm going to go on.
Yeah.
We have a picture of a substation being taken out to sea.
So this is from ReNews. Semco and PTSC win Formosa 4 substation deal.
Semco Maritime and PTSC Mechanical and Construction, that is post-traumatic stress company. I don't know what it is. They have, but every time I read that, I think of
yes,
yeah, being shell-shocked. Have secured an engineering, procurement, and construction contract for the offshore substation of a 495 megawatt Formosa 4 offshore wind farm in Taiwan. also known as Formosa. That's the Republic of China. The deal with the developer Sinera Renewable Energy is for delivery at the end of 2027. That's a big substation. So, you know.
Well, and you know, Taiwan makes the chips. So.
Yeah, and China wants it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Those are all, yep, descriptors.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to go on.
Yeah.
These are wind turbines in Italy. Now, my friend, a woman who was my friend, I believe she may have died now, but I worked with her husband, and I was friends with both of them. And she insisted that it's not Italy. It is Italy.
Italy, okay.
She was raised in Newark. She was Italian. There's no question about it. Well, only she wouldn't have said Italian. She would have said Italian.
Right. Yes. No, I know that's yes.
But she knew how to make lasagna. I'll give that to her. Okay.
So this is from Renews. Envision wins turbine Green Gong in Italy.
Green Gong. Envision Energy published environmental product declarations for its wind turbines in the EDP Italy platform, a move that it said provides internationally recognized green passport in quotes, credentials for its turbines. Envision said the declarations quantify impacts across the entire life cycle of the turbine. So they're looking at these turbines, everything being included from the time that a mining truck gets to a mine to pull, and the mining equipment pulls it out of the ground, up until the time that the turbine is used, and then it's recycled at the end of its life, the whole thing. And that's what they did. And these wind turbines can be I don't know if you were here, we had a wind farm that the owner, it was a very small wind farm in Scotland, as I recall, had 4 wind turbines. It was 12 megawatts or something. And the owner of the wind farm wanted to get it approved to have its life extended by 20 years. They were using the original turbines for that life extension, which meant that if they were going to replace those turbines later, they would have to apply for new permits. And they, here's a wind turbine. It's got 20 years of life on it, and they want another 20.
Yeah.
And it kind of says something. Years ago, I was told by an anti-wind activist that wind turbines only last 6 years. And I said, check the warranty, because they're not going to give a warranty on something that they know lasts only 6 years.
Yep.
That is going to be for more than 5 years. And I checked the warranties, and the warranties at that time were all 20 or 25 years. Most of them 20 years, but these people want to have it, go to 40, because apparently they've had no trouble with these wind turbines. Okay, we're up to Tuesday, September 30th, and we have a photographic image of a ship in crystal clear water.
Yes. So,
also known as an artist's rendering.
Yeah, so this is from Renews.
Yeah.
And the headline here is Jean de Noul orders vessel for subsea defense.
Yeah, I think that's pronounced Jan de Noul.
Jan de Noul.
Yeah, it's a Belgian company. I might be wrong about that. It might be Jan de Null. Has ordered a new subsea rock installation vessel for protecting the critical offshore infrastructure, including cables, for energy and data. The George W Goethals, that's the way it's pronounced correctly, I believe, with a capacity of 37,000 metric tons, will operate with flexible and inclined fall pipe systems to install large rocks at depths up to 400 meters. 400 meters is deep, I mean, really. And I was really interested in this, and I thought, I know that name, George W. Goethals.
There's a bridge.
There sure is. And I looked it up, and the Goethals Bridge, which runs from New Jersey to Staten Island, and I've been across it many times.
Me too.
It was named after the supervisor in the first Panama Canal construction.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't it? And I feel particularly connected to this because an ancestor of mine, whose name was William Kenish, was the first person to take a job for the U.S. government to survey for the Panama Canal.
Huh.
And he was an interesting guy. He wrote poetry in Manx.
I don't know what Manx is.
It's the language of the people who live on the island of Man.
Ah,
Okay. He also wrote poetry in English. Anyway, they are moving rocks around at deep depths, so that weird things don't happen to these cables, both energy and data cables. And that's what the picture of the ship is actually showing. Okay, now we have a picture of Porto, Portugal.
Yeah, so this is from Euronews. EU energy systems vulnerable to heat waves, droughts, and rising cooling needs, EEA says.
Future energy demand for cooling is expected to increase most in southern European countries such as Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Spain, which could consume 71% of the total annual energy for cooling purposes in homes in the European Union as global warming continues. They're looking at this and saying they're going to have problems with climate change. I'm sure that they...
This is a story that we keep talking about. I mean, it just keeps getting worse.
It keeps getting worse.
It just keeps getting worse. But this is
And they don't appreciate having Donald Trump go there and tell them that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's accurate as well. Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that, but that's what's called climate denial, and our next story is about climate denial.
Oh, so yeah, this is a good one.
Why don't we just go to it?
Yeah, so this is from Clean Technica.
Yeah, and that is Main Street in Carborough, which is a city, I guess, in North Carolina.
Yeah, so the headline here is North Carolina town sues Duke Energy for damages caused by climate deception, and that's in quotes.
Yeah, climate deception. Carborough, North Carolina, a town of 21,000 residents, claims it has suffered millions of dollars in damage to its roads and town buildings due to more frequent and extreme weather events. It sued Duke Energy for deception about the climate.
Amazing.
I'll be very interested in seeing where that goes. But those kids won in Montana, and that hit the Montana Supreme Court, and there ain't nothing past that to appeal to. So they said the Montana Constitution says that we have a right to unpolluted outdoors, and we haven't got it. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, that's true. Now, what do the companies do? The companies that are selling oil and gas and stuff like that pollute the environment, and other things that pollute the environment. Well, I have a suggestion for them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
A company called Danish Oil, you know where I'm going with this, changed its name to Danish Oil and Gas when they made gas part of their whole thing. Then they changed it to DONG, D-O-N-G, Danish Oil and Natural Gas. And then they decided they didn't want to be in the oil and the gas industry. They wanted to get out of it. So they did. Now, They are Ørsted, who we talk about constantly.
Constantly.
So
Almost on every show. There's
almost every one. They are the premier offshore wind company in the world, and 40 years ago they were just oil in the North Sea. So, you know, how do you deal with having stranded assets coming at you from oil and gas? Change your business plan.
Yes.
And stranded assets, walk away from them.
Yes.
Because if you don't, it's going to be like failing to walk away from the anchor that you're tied to, that's floating, that's down in the water.
Or the fire that's burning and just going to get you just in 5 more minutes.
Yes, exactly. It can be done. Ørsted proved it.
Yes.
And I have to say, makes me kind of mad, but I think these guys who are fighting to retain their stranded assets are a bunch of wimps.
Yes. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, they're trying to make this man like them.
They're trying to keep their profits up.
It's a short there. It's all, yeah. I mean, it's short term and just completely blinding themselves against the idea that there might be a problem with this.
Now, before the show, you told me something about Judaism.
Oh, about Tikkun Olam.
Yeah.
So it is about repairing the earth. So doing with what we have and trying to make something better.
You've got me thrilled, really. You know, I've got goosebumps because that whole idea. There are things about Judaism that are really special. But yeah, and that's the thing. You want to atone for your past and do better for the future? Well, repairing the earth is a good approach.
It's a good approach.
Yeah. Okay. We have a picture of sunrise on a wind turbine, and this is from Renews.
Yeah, another company that we talk about a lot, Vestas, closes out Q3 with 585 megawatts order flurry.
Yeah, Vestas secured firm orders totaling 585 megawatts across 13 wind farms in Germany, Denmark, and the UK as part of its third quarter 2025 intake. The largest share comes from Germany, where the manufacturer will supply a combined 239 megawatts of EN Venturis turbines to 8 community-led projects. And this has really, it really tells an interesting story. These are community-led projects. These projects happened because communities in Germany, where people know about wind turbines,
yes, they do,
have decided we want one of those for ourselves. Now, this is something that goes back a long ways. They've had community-led projects, I think, almost from the point where I started this show. I think we had.
Wasn't the country led by a scientist or something?
I remember reporting on a. I remember reporting on a community, I think it was in northern Germany, where they had looked around and eventually found a used wind turbine that they could put up. And it was just the right size for them. And so they put it up. And they put it up by doing crowdsourcing. They crowdsourced a wind turbine, and they just put it up on land that was just outside the community. What can I say?
Well, it's crowdsourcing and then crowd pleasing, because then you have access to.
And now all the people in Martha's Vineyard like wind turbines because they can see them going and appreciate the change. Okay, we have a Norwegian fjord.
Yes.
With a boat traveling down it.
Yeah, so this is from Clean Technica. An electric boat goes 200 miles in Norway.
Canal Boats Telemark Telemark is a particularly interesting area of Norway. It's known for its skiing, among other things. But canal boats, the word canal does not mean that they're confined to canals. Canal Boats Telemark rents fully electric boats, not hybrids, for touring the waters in and around Norway. What a thing. An American couple who rented an electric boat spent 16 days on it and traveled 203 nautical miles. That was 16 days enjoying the view in quiet space and clean air.
Sounds lovely.
Doesn't it?
I'm going to do that and look at the fjords.
Yeah, I'd love to
Sounds
do
like-
it, and I think I will as soon as I find somebody who will pay for it.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're up to our last
Oh, yeah.
picture.
This
This
one's-
is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, this is from Euronews.
Do you know what Schwarzenegger means?
No.
Well, Schwartz is black,
Okay.
and Egger is digger. So this is coal digger.
Wild. So Arnold Schwarzenegger downplays Trump and backs Vatican initiative on global warming.
Yeah, don't you love it? Arnold Schwarzenegger trashed the Trump administration's climate deception. Sounds like grounds for a lawsuit to me. And
Yeah,
threw
it
his
does.
weight behind the Vatican's environmental initiative, saying its moral leadership, local regulations, and the choice to, quote, terminate, end quote, global warming were far more important. And I got to tell you, it's refreshing to hear a pope talk and sound like he could have been my next door neighbor when I lived in Illinois. Because he could have been. Although I am a few years older. He probably wouldn't have been my best friend, but what can I say? Anyway, that is the end of the program.
It is, indeed.
We have a wish for everybody that you have an especially lovely week.
Yes, yes, yes.
And goodbye.
Bye.
Come back next time.